We've all experienced those days where a heavy, lingering sense of dread builds up in your chest. You feel completely overwhelmed, irritated, or anxious, but if someone asked you to point to the exact trigger, your brain just fogs over. Does surviving high-pressure corporate environments mean you just have to swallow that vague anxiety, or do elite professionals process workplace discomfort in a completely different way?
They treat it like a broken line of code. In behavioral architecture, we trace a massive leak in employee energy, the accumulation of unexamined stress. High performers don't let bad moods float around in their heads. The second they feel a wave of discomfort or anxiety, they make an active behavioral choice to run an objective discomfort audit. They pull the emotion out of thin air and anchor it to raw data.
Most people treat anxiety like the weather, something that just happens to them during the day, so they try to push through it, drink some coffee, and hope it goes away by Friday. What's the danger of leaving that discomfort unexamined?
The danger is that unexamined emotion morphs into a permanent psychological fog. When you leave stress in a vague, abstract state, your brain assumes the entire workplace is a hostile environment.
It magnifies everything. A simple question from a teammate suddenly feels like a personal attack because your baseline is already completely redlined.
Exactly. When you ignore this auditing phase, you default to an over-indexing pattern. You treat your anxiety as a reflection of your overall competence rather than the consequence of a specific operational bottleneck. You burn through immense amounts of mental glucose spinning your wheels in a state of hypervigilance. By the time you log off, you're emotionally spent, yet you didn't actually solve the underlying problem because you never took the time to define it.
So how do high-performing professionals break that emotional spiral before it consumes their entire afternoon focus?
They completely reframe what an unpleasant emotion is. They stop viewing a spike of anxiety or frustration as a personal crisis. Instead, they treat it strictly as the measurable output of an unresolved problem.
Meaning, the bad mood isn't a flaw in them, it's just a diagnostic warning light coming on from the system.
Precisely. It's the shift from emotional immersion to factual isolation. A reactive professional becomes the anxiety. A responsive professional observes the anxiety, pulls out a notepad, and asks, what specific system variable triggered this response sequence? They actively decouple their identity from the friction in the workflow.
That objectifies the entire experience. It takes the shame out of feeling stressed. But what does that lookup process actually look like when you are in the middle of a chaotic workday?
It requires a deliberate transition from abstract feeling to systematic recording. We call it fact isolation. The moment the baseline drops into frustration or worry, high performers execute a real-time tracking habit.
They don't try to think their way out of it. They physically write down the parameters of the situation to isolate the variables.
Always. Behavioral data shows that translating an internal emotion into external, written data reduces amygdala activation almost instantly. By taking a pen or digital scratch pad and separating the timeline, the people involved, and the precise mechanical friction from your thoughts, you completely strip the emotional drama away from the event, leaving behind an ordinary operational issue that can be easily managed.
Let's look at how this specific auditing behavior fits into a broader, predictable blueprint of professional self-management.
As we see on the slide, the reinforcement strategy here is entirely about containment. You train your brain to realize that the foggy anxiety you feel isn't a permanent condition. It's just a piece of unorganized information waiting to be classified.
Saving 35% of your daily mental capacity just by categorizing the stressor, that completely changes how much energy you have left when you head home.
It changes everything. It means you stop carrying the ghosts of your morning meetings into your evening personal life. You run a clean data operation.
Let's translate this into a real, everyday workday scenario. You finish an alignment sync with a product owner, and you walk away feeling incredibly anxious, defensive, and slighted. The feeling starts ruining your focus for the afternoon. What does practicing this look like?
The default, reactive choice is to let that bad mood stew for hours, passively check your notifications, jump into a Slack thread with a teammate to complain about how difficult that product owner is, and lose your entire focus momentum for 2 hours. But if you practice objective discomfort auditing, the moment you close that Zoom window, you pull up a private note document, you block out the drama and record 3 clean data fields. When, 1:30 p.m. sync, who, product owner, what. They requested a deep dive timeline change for Q4 without adjusting our current resourcing capacity allocations. Suddenly, you realize you aren't actually incompetent or unappreciated. You simply have an unresolved resourcing dependency that needs a formal counterproposal.
It's an incredible tactical pivot. You went from a vague cloud of personal frustration to a highly specific, actionable operational task.
Exactly. You transform an emotional weight into a clean business variable, and this is a concrete behavioral muscle that anyone can build starting today. Let's run a practical, real-world experiment this week.
What is our micro action for this week?
The when, who, what scratchpad. For the next 48 hours, the moment you feel a wave of frustration, annoyance, or professional dread, you are banned from talking to anyone or dwelling on it. Instead, open a hidden text file and write down those 3 fields within 2 minutes. When did it happen? Who was involved? What mechanical workflow step caused the friction? Isolate the data, then close the note.
I love that because it provides an immediate framework to strip the personal drama out of sudden workday curveballs.
It forces your logical mind to show up to the scene of the crime before your emotions can rewrite the story. And as you try this experiment, I want you to look closely at your execution patterns.
What should our viewers be keeping an eye out for as they audit their days this week?
Look back at your text chains, notes, and stress cycles from this past week and ask yourself this single question. When I felt uncomfortable at work, did I let the anxiety float around as a vague emotional cloud, or did I choose to isolate the exact scenes and facts driving the friction? Start observing that choice, because this fact isolation habit is just one of 16 hidden behavioral flashpoints that dictate your workplace velocity. If you're ready to stop drowning in emotional fatigue, map out your complete execution profile and unlock a customized blueprint for your working style. Stop guessing why you're exhausted. Let's look at the data.
In the next episode, we'll explore another critical workplace choice pattern, because how we work is always hidden inside the choices we repeat.